Israel's far-right government passed a law to weaken the power of the Supreme Court, and people are holding unprecedented protests. Here's what's going on. The protests first broke out in January when the far-right government proposed making a series of changes to the judicial system. In Israel, the Supreme Court has always had the power to declare laws passed by the parliament, known as the Knesset, as unconstitutional. However, the government has proposed a bill that would weaken this power in three major ways. The first is taking away the Supreme Court's power to declare government decisions as unreasonable. The second is allowing the Knesset to override Supreme Court decisions with a majority vote. And the third is changing the committee that chooses Supreme Court judges so the government can control who is selected. The government says this is necessary because the Supreme Court, which is made up of unelected judges, has too much power over elected politicians. However, protesters and critics say the changes will weaken the Supreme Court's independence and give the government too much power. Protesters say this could allow the government to further its right-wing agenda, including constructing Israeli settlements in the West Bank. There are also concerns that the changes could shield Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu from a corruption trial he is currently facing. Netanyahu was forced to pause efforts to push through the reform in March due to the protests. But on July 24th, the parliament passed the first part of the reform, stopping the Supreme Court from declaring government decisions unreasonable after the opposition boycotted the vote. The decision was met with mass protests, which are now the largest and longest in Israel's 75-year history. Protesters include academics, technology leaders, and thousands of people from trade unions and military reserves who are threatening to strike from the Israeli Defense Force, or IDF. On July 26, the Supreme Court announced that it will review the new law by hearing appeals against it, but the process could take months. Follow for more stories from around the world.